Hi, boys and girls. We're going to learn a little bit more about the Pacific Northwest region in another video. We are going to learn about what foods they ate, what the climate was, what shelters they used, and that's it. So let's get started.
The land the Northwest people settled on provided plenty of food to eat. The oceans, bays, and rivers were filled with fish, seal, otters, shellfish, and crabs, so Northwest tribes mostly ate seafood. Salmon was a large part of their diet. Each spring, thousands of salmon would swim upstream in rivers. There were so many salmon that a man could catch enough to feed his entire family for 1 year. Men built long fences across the river made of tree saplings to catch the salmon. They also used nets and wooden traps. When the salmon were trapped, men would use spears to kill them. Fish eggs and fish oil were special treats. They were eaten at every meal. Women used them for cooking, seasoning, and medicine. Even though it was very dangerous, some natives hunted whales. A group of men would brave the ocean in a canoe. Once they found a whale, they used a harpoon to kill it. They used every part of every whale they hunted. The meat and skin were eaten. The blubber or fat was used for oil. The tendons were used to make rope. Northwest people also used the forests around them to hunt for food. Men used traps, clubs, and arrows to kill deer, elk, bears, and beavers. Their meat and fur were valuable to the nation. Women used the forest to gather wild berries, roots, and fruit. Northwest villages were built near oceans, bays, and rivers. A village always faced the water. Canoes were stored in front of the village across the sand.
What kinds of shelter did the Pacific Northwest region use?
A village consisted of a series of plank houses built in a row. Plank houses were large, permanent homes built of wood from the surrounding forests. The frame of the house was constructed of large cedar trees. Logs and wood pegs were used as nails. Wooden planks were used for roofs. The planks overlapped to keep out the rain. Plank houses were 50 to 150 feet long and 20 to 60 feet wide. They were big enough for grandparents, parents, and grandchildren to live comfortably in. The leaders of the nation lived in the largest plank houses. The outside of a plank house was decorated with paintings and carvings. Inside, curtains made of woven mats hanging on rods separated the plank house into rooms. In the middle of the house was a sunken living room. In the center of the living room was a fire pit. Families used the pit to cook food and to gather around. There were no windows, but there was one hole in the ceiling for air. The ceiling was low, so the entire home would stay heated in the cool weather. The room in the very back of a plank house was usually reserved for the elders. This was the grandfather or grandmother. The grandfather was in charge of assigning each family member a space in the home.